The story of humans is a story of engineering. It seems to be a story of genetic engineering. It seems to be a story of human beings being taken, like you take like whatever this primitive beast is, and you put something else into it, and you rapidly create something that's far more advanced than anything else. I think along the lines, you maintain too much of the primitive beast. For the amount of intelligence that it has and the amount of technological competence that it's capable of achieving, it's too primitive still. It's too violent. It's too territorial. There's too much of it that's still an animal.
Yeah.
But we're not totally an animal. We're, if you looked at us and looked at everybody else, like, that animal's crazy. This animal makes fucking airplanes. Like, we're so different than everything else.
Yeah.
I think we're engineered. And I think we're engineered like, look, I've had pit bulls, and I know people will tell you pit bulls are great dogs and they're sweet dogs, and I love them. Don't get me wrong. However, they're sketchy fucking dogs. They're sketchy dogs. They're sketchy dogs, period. And you could love them. Oh, it's all how you train them. Fuck you. Those dogs are designed to attack other dogs, and they don't. I had my dogs that I had to separate once. You never should have two females together. I realized that after a while.
I have that going on right now. It's not good.
Females, you got to get rid of one of them. You can't have the females together. They'll fight to the death, and males establish dominance. One male is dominant over the other males back off, and that's the room. That's not how it works with females. The female dogs, they keep trying to decide who's the boss, and I had to separate them. They're locked onto each other, and they're wagging their tails. They're biting each other's face and neck, locking onto each other, and I mean full wagging the tail, like they're having the time of their life. And I had to hose them down and separate them. I had to have someone help me. We made them.
Yeah.
Those are not a dog that, like, it's not a wolf. Wolves are really fascinating, clever creatures that have evolved over time with nature. And they're brutal to each other, but they're brutal to each other in a way that makes sense for the survival of the pack. It all makes sense if you look at like how it works and how they have to communicate together, and they have to push out the weak ones and push out the old ones. It's brutal, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
Pit bulls don't make any sense. They make no sense. And people don't make any sense. People are like something that somebody created. People are like super intelligent, very aware of our own finite lifespan, very aware of our own mortality, very aware of the consequences of hurting people, yet we do it anyway.
Yeah.
We communicate with each other. We know. There's people that like their entire day is just fucking with people online.
Oh, yeah.
Their entire day is that. So people like to cause pain, like to cause chaos. There's people out there that are warmongers. They enjoy starting war.
Yeah.
They enjoy getting involved in conflicts with other nations. That's their thing. That's what they do. We're fucking weird. We're weirder than any other animal. And I think one of the reasons why we're this weird and this incoherent is because we're engineered.
One thing that so I studied philosophy in college because at one point I thought I might go to law school, but I love thought experiments. And one of the things that always stuck with me that's sort of along these lines is this idea that humans are almost to the point where you can't even notice it. You are completely egotistical. Like every human, you could basically define their whole existence as being absolutely egocentric. And it comes down to how you treat other people and your motives, whatever. But critically, there's one point that stands out above all, and actually Neil deGrasse Tyson nails this. And I know you had an interview with him. I'm not sure if you guys covered this, but it's one of his best descriptions of how fucked up humans are and how we think about things the wrong way. So because we're so egotistical, like humans as a species, we sort of assume that, okay, well, if there's life in any capacity outside of Earth or undiscovered life somewhere, everything is sort of compared against us. We are the baseline. Intelligent life, you know what that looks like? Yeah, it looks something like us. How do we describe intelligent aliens? They're like gray beings they're like bipedal and sort of resemble humans. We have this sort of baseline thought that humans are the best and that humans are the smartest, and that if anything is going to be intelligent in the universe beyond us, it'll have elements of human to it, right? And so Neil deGrasse Tyson brings this point up that shows you the absurdity of how little we know and how probably wrong we are. He's like, okay, he does a much better job of this, but it's like, okay, so we're made up of DNA. Humans are made up of DNA. We have X number of DNA strands. I'm going to botch the way he tells it, but imagine we have 100 pieces of DNA that make us human. Like, if you have these 100 pieces, you're a human. Okay, well, who's our closest relative to humans? It's probably the chimpanzee. And just for the sake of this description, sorry, Neil, you probably do a better job. They have like 98 of the human pieces, but either they're missing 2 or they have 2 different ones, and that's the thing that makes them a chimpanzee. So they're like 98, right? And then you have, well, what's the next closest thing to humans? It goes human, it goes chimp, maybe it goes to like fucking, I don't know, a bird or a dolphin or whatever. But you go down the line of like the animals that are closest to us in terms of intelligence, and you sort of degrade in terms of number of DNA pieces that are close to the ideal, which is 100. And Neil's like, okay, great. So you have that framework. Okay, what the fuck do we do to chimpanzees? We put them in labs and we test them in labs. We put them in fucking zoos. Do you go up to chimpanzees and say, hey, chimp, let's have a conversation. Let's have a meaningful No, you don't. And they're the closest thing. Let's go down the list. What about an ant? Like, an ant's like 75 of 100. You might step on an ant and not even know it, right? How many times have you stopped to talk to the earthworm? None, because it doesn't even register for you. He's like, if there's intelligent life in somewhere out there, what makes you think we're not the ant? Why are we automatically at the same level? Why would an intelligent species somewhere else come here and be like, oh shit, humans, let's chat? What if we're so insignificant that we get stepped on the way we step on ants? Or worse, what if we're close, like the chimpanzee, and we get rounded up and fucking studied? By the way, if you want to, there's a movie I just watched last night called The Signal. It has to do with this. I love sci-fi movies. Check it out. It's a fucking...
The Signal.
Holy shit, what a plot twist. It has to do with human testing. I kind of
Is it a new movie?
No, it's like 2014. And it's you got to watch it. And
Who's in it?
No-name actors.
Lawrence
I'm sorry,
Fishburne.
not no-name actors at all.
He's the only one I recognize.
Fucking huge.
No, I mean, to be fair, he's the only one I recognize.
Lawrence Fishburne, it's amazing.
I'm
I
going to
haven't
write
heard
it
of
down.
any other names.
So this movie, admittedly, you're watching it and you're like, wait a minute, I kind of get it. I kind of get it. You get to the end,
Don't
I
spoil
will
it.
not spoil it. I'm not going to spoil it. You get to the end. I challenge anyone who watches this to think about the example I just gave you about, are we the ant? Are we the chimpanzee? What place do we have in the universe? And with that in mind, think about the ending to that movie, because it's very sudden the way that movie ends, and you realize what the point is. And it's the stark reminder that not only do we not know what else is out there, let alone on our own planet, we're still discovering things that we've never even seen. And that just has to do with fossil records. Who knows what's beyond that?
Right.
How do we rank in the universe? Like, it's so unbelievable that when you look at our problems and you look at the things that we focus on and like our gripes day to day and our conflicts with the world, if you just zoom out and you realize it's not just that we might not be alone, it's that we might be insignificant.
I don't think we're insignificant. I
hope
think,
not.
I think what humans are is a latter stage of intellectual development amongst multicelled organisms, and that it's not the end stage. And I think there's probably life out there that doesn't have as chaotic a solar system, that developed in a different way, that achieved very high levels, probably above and beyond anything we could even imagine what we are. And it might not even be biological anymore, which is the direction that I think we're heading into. But I also think that what we do to animals, I mean, look at what we're doing right now, okay? My friend Ben Lamb, he owns Colossal Bioworks. So Colossal, the ones that brought back the direwolf.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was huge news.
Crazy.
Dude.
I've seen them in real life.
I think I saw it in your post. Yeah, that's crazy.
Went to visit them, and my daughter was holding the 4-month-old.
Oh my God.
And it was like kissing her and loving on her like a puppy. And it's a
Wow.
it's a little baby wolf. It's really crazy. Just think of what we do with genetic engineering, with the current technology, which is right now evolving and getting much more powerful. If you could imagine us not 1,000 years from now, but even 100,000 years from now, how advanced we are. And if we go to a planet and we find some chimps and we say, wow, how much time would it take before these chimps could become something special? Something, something that could make a building, something that could make a cruise ship, and fucking Carnival Cruise Lines.
Those are pretty incredible.
How long would that take?
I don't know.
Can we help that? Every single ancient culture, if you go back to their oldest religious texts, their oldest religious texts are about some sort of an intervention by an advanced visitor.
Wow.